Alarm clocks, commutes, staring at screens under fluorescent lighting while answering to a boss. We organize our entire existence around a highly structured, repetitive schedule. But for roughly 99% of human history, none of this existed. Without offices, salaries, or emails to answer, you might wonder what a prehistoric human actually did with their time all day. The answer is survival. The moment early humans opened their eyes, the demands of their environment forced them into immediate action. There was no snooze button when your next meal was still roaming the valley. To understand how our ancestors lived, we have to forget the weekend. We have to erase our modern divisions of labor and look closely at a natural world governed entirely by sunlight, weather, and physical endurance. A prehistoric morning started with immediate logistics. The overnight fire required fresh fuel to keep predators at bay and boil water. Someone had to locate fresh water, check for new animal tracks, and scan the sky for weather. We know this isn't guesswork. Archaeologists study campsites scattered with discarded tools, cracked animal bones, and even fossilized tracks. These grouped footprints show early humans moving together at dawn, fanning out to forage while the ground was damp and trails were easy to read. And that routine changed depending on where they stood. A morning in a warm coastal estuary involved harvesting shellfish at low tide. A morning in a freezing Ice Age tundra meant tracking reindeer through snowy valleys and patching leather garments before the wind picked up. There was no commute to a building. Every sunrise required a rapid, complex calculation of the local ecology, the season, and exactly how much energy the group had left to spend. Movies usually depict this part of the day the same way. A group of muscular hunters gripping spears, running down a massive, angry woolly mammoth. But when we look at the data, prehistoric survival takes a different shape. Taking down large game was dangerous and highly unpredictable. A hunting party could track animals for days and return with absolutely nothing. Daily survival actually relied on a much more reliable foundation: gathering roots, trapping small game, catching fish, and foraging for insects and nuts. Success was not defined by a massive, dramatic kill. A thriving community survived by diversifying its food sources. By spreading the risk across dozens of different microtasks, early humans ensured that even if the hunt failed, the group would still eat. Raw resources like flint nodules required immense effort. The bulk of prehistoric labor involved grueling camp maintenance, making cordage, sewing, and napping stoneflakes. We see this cost through microwear analysis. Microscopic scratches prove thousands of hours of repetitive scraping. Food processing demanded an equally massive toll. Many wild plants, roots, and grains are toxic or completely indigestible in their raw state. These grinding stones hold the physical proof of relentless, time-consuming friction required to crush seeds and pound tubers into edible flour. Survival required a constant cycle of material management, processing raw materials, rendering food safe to eat, and repairing gear consumed the remaining daylight. Even the children were working, though it looked like play. A child throwing rocks at a stump, climbing trees, or making a miniature spear that instantly snaps against a rock wasn't goofing off. They were developing the precise motor skills and spatial awareness required for adult survival. Then there was a concept completely foreign to modern productivity: active waiting. Sitting silently beside a game trail for hours, watching the subtle shifts in a river's current, or simply observing storm clouds build on the horizon. To a modern observer, this looks like doing nothing. In the prehistoric world, observation, patience, and play were classified as essential labor. As the sun set, the physical demands of the day finally paused, but the cognitive labor was just beginning. The architecture of early campsites, heavily centered around a communal fire pit, shows that living spaces were designed for group interaction. The time spent talking, singing, and telling stories was not leisure. In a world without writing, oral traditions were the only way to store and transmit crucial data. A story about a tricky raven was actually a coded map of local water sources, and a song about a hunt served as a safety manual for handling dangerous predators. The evening hearth functioned as the hub for the group's collective intelligence, where information was sorted, stored, and passed to the next generation. There were no strict boundaries dividing work, play, learning, and family time. For our ancestors, it was a single, seamlessly blended experience. Humans survived because of evolutionary flexibility. Our brains evolved to handle highly varied, constantly shifting problems. We are built to track weather, fix tools, tell stories, and walk long distances, all in a single day. This sharply contrasts with the highly specialized, repetitive nature of modern employment. The definition of work only began to narrow as humans settled down. The rise of agriculture traded flexible, varied survival tasks for the repetitive, location-bound labor of plowing fields and tending crops. Industrialization pushed this even further. Human labor became entirely divorced from natural seasonal rhythms, tied instead to the rigid ticking of a clock and the uniformity of an assembly line. Our ancestors faced a different challenge every sunrise, adapting their energy to the shifting demands of the wild. Humans have spent millennia reinventing what it means to be productive. If you enjoy uncovering the hidden stories of human history, subscribe to Human History Explained, because history is far stranger than fiction.